Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Comfort Zone. This is a podcast where we talk about situations, experiences, and events in our lives where we have gone out of our comfort zone in a comfortable environment. And today
Mhm.
we have a very special guest.
It's the gay episode.
Yes,
It's the
it's
gay
the gay
episode. It's
episode,
the
and
gay
we're here with
episode, finally. The
Lizzie.
representation. Hi.
If you guys actually listen and watch to my podcast, you might have heard her name dropped a couple times in the episode where we interviewed Erin Perales, the motorsport content creator. Yeah, that was
That was funny. That was funny to see. Because it's like wasn't really a thing, but it's kind of serendipitous how it's all come full circle, and here we are.
yeah. Basically, she's a lesbian now, and Erin, just Erin was one of the people that like
He was the second to last man I ever dated.
that's
Yeah, there
wild.
was only one more after him. Yeah.
So he just helped her.
Or dated, went on dates with, like, it
So
wasn't
Erin
much of a thing.
Aaron helped you in your sexual awakening in Madrid.
Well, I wouldn't say that because, like,
Aided.
I I wouldn't say that because it's like it's not like I didn't know that I was queer, okay? Like, I've known that since I was, a young lass, but, like, I think, um it was just kinda something I put on the back burner, and I was even, like, out to, like, friends and stuff in college and all through that, but it wasn't something that I really, like. There's like this I feel like there's kind of this like line that you need to cross where it's like I went on some dates with the girls. I was like identified as bisexual at the time, but like didn't really know what to do about it. And then I feel like after that summer, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like just like actually try to explore this part of myself, just date women, like forget about men. And like I crossed that line. And I kind of knew that once I did that, that there would be kind of no going back. I
That's
already
fair.
always knew that in the back of my head, but yeah. So
Well, we
there
are
it
going
is.
to get a little bit more into Lizzie's sexual awakening in Madrid because I swear to God, I'm not even kidding. Like, you're like the third or fourth person that I know that came to Madrid and they're like, well, you knew you're bisexual, but I knew a couple people like, I'm straight, I'm straight. They're dating like people of the opposite sex. And
Mhm.
then fully they're like, they leave gay.
No, it's true. Madrid is gay as heck.
You
Am I
can
allowed to
you can say bad
Madrid
words.
is gay as fuck. And it's true, that's happened to a lot of my friends here, and it's like the community I've created, it's like a lot of that kind of that vibes for sure.
Well, we are going to get into that a bit more, but as
Mhm.
you know, every episode of the comfort zone starts with a little bit of skincare.
Okay.
I'm going to put a full face mask. Lizzie is going to put an eye mask. Mine is honey, which is supposed to be good for moisturizing.
I have cucumber, which is soothing and depuffing. We love that.
But while we put our face masks and eye masks on, Lizzie, can you tell us a little bit about your skin journey? Because I know you struggled a lot with acne.
Yeah. Okay. So I never
By the
had.
way, her skin looks great right now.
Thank you. I never had like the best skin ever. It's kind of like a genetic thing. My uncle actually calls it having a case of the SIS or the shitty Irish skin. But it's like I never had the best skin, but it was kind of like right after I graduated college and I moved to Washington D.C. from California because I'm from California. That's I think the humidity or something like. Wait, how does this work?
Hair on you?
Oh, this whole thing is the mask. This is just one.
I don't know.
Is this
Is
just
there another one?
I don't know.
No, I think that's two. I think it goes. Wait, pause.
You have to open it.
Here
Okay, here we
here.
go. Here we
It's
go.
okay, put it on and then we'll talk about BT.
Okay. So
Wait, is it recording? Okay.
Okay, so
Hold on. Break for the mask. Wait, I think I put it on backwards. I think it's supposed to go like this. Like the icky side down, no? That would
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah. Sorry, the other one's backwards. I clearly have never done this before. Oh, it smells really good. It smells like cucumber for sure.
Okay. So, let's start with So when did your skin start getting bad?
So when I moved to DC, I was like 21 years old. And I think something about the humidity of the East Coast of the United States, like especially moving there in the summer, really did a number on me. And I started breaking out in like really cystic acne, like all around my jawline, especially in like my neck. And that was really hard because it was like I was moving across the country by myself. I didn't have any friends. I was starting like my first ever professional job and trying to make friends and trying to like this new chapter in my life where I was being a grown up while I was like breaking out and like feeling really insecure was like
And like,
it was
I
really
feel like
difficult.
obviously it's not the case, but I always associated acne with being a teenager and
Yeah.
like high school.
And that's the biggest lie ever. Like I feel like when you're a little kid, you feel like it like pimples and stuff is just a thing when you're a teenager.
Mhm.
But no.
I thought I was gonna stop getting pimples at 25.
No,
No.
it's a lie. And so I was getting it really bad and then just continued even when I moved to Madrid, which is so dry. Like it just I feel like my skin was just changed. So I had it for a long time. And it's just one of those things where it's like if you've never had acne, you don't really know, but like you wake up every day just being like, what's new? Like what's still there? It's painful.
Mhm.
You just go through so much money because it's so much makeup, it's so much like skincare
Mhm.
products. So finally 2 years ago, I went on Accutane, or like it's not it was like whatever the
It was a
Spanish version of that
generic
is.
version of Accutane.
And changed my life
Hmm.
and
But
cleared it
how
up.
was it?
It wasn't actually that bad because I went on a really low dose and I didn't even finish it because I didn't really want to up it because I started it in the summer and it makes your skin really sensitive to the sun.
Yeah.
And I already can burn very easily. Look at me. So SIS exactly. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. And also because someone on TikTok or something talked about slugging, where you just put like Vaseline all over your face because Accutane is supposed to dry the shit out of your
I've heard
skin.
of slugging.
So then I was just doing that every night. I was just covering my face with Vaseline every night. And I think I avoided the worst of it because of that. But like you
Mhm.
can't drink. So I wasn't like I went like 2-3 months not drinking, which was kind of nice, I guess, for my body. You had to be really careful around the sun, things like that. The first like month was hard, but then honestly after that it was fine. And then it definitely like that was almost 2 years ago. And I still have some breakouts and stuff, but not like the deep
Mhm.
like gross stuff that it was before. The painful stuff is all gone. So
But your skin looks great right now. So what is your
Okay.
routine now?
It's pretty simple. I feel like simplifying it is the best thing for me. I at night I take my makeup off with my cellular water, just like from
Mhm.
the grocery store. I wash my face with like an oil cleanser, and then I put on a new like a retinol cream in some places, and then I put on really thick moisturizer, and then I still put Vaseline on once a week or for my whole face, and then every day under my eyes, on my lips, and around my nose, which get really dry.
Interesting.
And then in the morning, I just wash my face, put on a ton of sunscreen, and like light makeup now.
Yeah.
So
I started double cleansing too.
yeah.
I use an oil, then a water cleanser.
Yeah.
Then I pick the toner of the day,
Yeah.
the serum of the day, and then
Yeah.
moisturize.
Because to keep it cheap and easy, like honestly, just
Yeah.
like
I think one thing,
less is more sometimes.
one thing that I notice is like when you get breakouts or when you get acne,
Mm-hmm.
you are tempted to just pile on the actives, glycolic
Mhm.
acid, salicylic acid, retinol, because you're hoping that it's gonna help it go away so fast. And when I did
And you
that, it
want
made it
fast results.
worse.
Yeah,
And
totally.
like now I've learned kind of like take care of your skin
Slow
barrier.
down. Yeah, that's why I just put thick moisturizer and everything because that just makes it better at the end of the day.
Okay, well, that's
That's my
now
skin.
your skin looks great.
Yay, finally.
Tell us
After
a little
years.
about a little bit about you, where you're from, your
Mhm.
upbringing, what you studied, and I know you mentioned a little bit about moving to DC.
Yeah, that whole thing. So I'm from California.
Cali girl.
I'm a Cali girl for sure. Wasn't born there, but I moved there when I was like 2, and grew up in Santa Barbara and then in San Diego area for most of my life. And then I went to university in Northern California, Chico State, Harvard West, and then right after I graduated college, which was in 2018. I moved to DC because I got my degree in journalism. I studied journalism, worked for the school newspaper, all that jazz. So it's like DC's the place to go. I had an aunt and uncle that lived just outside the city who were so kind to let me stay with them while I first got there as I like figure things out. Found a job pretty fast at like this like political news startup as a writer and did that for a year. Yeah.
And then you came here.
Well, kind of. So after a year I quit because honestly working in like any sort of sphere around politics in DC is like
yeah, I can imagine.
it's like intense. And also I was working there in 2018, 2019. It was what, like 2 years into the Trump presidency. It was like my first article that I wrote at my new job was about how there was a shooting at a news office like in Maryland, which is like not
That's
even that far
wild.
away. So it's kind of like tensions were high about like journalism and stuff anyway. And so after a year, I just like I didn't really want to be a part of it anymore because it just felt, I don't know. It just didn't feel like the place for me to be. So my roommates at the time were getting married to each other and they're getting married in France. So I decided to quit my job, go to the wedding, and then just fuck around Europe for a few months.
Love that.
And so I did that and it was so fun. And then I went back to DC. It was just like working in a cafe, but I was like, I really liked being over there. And so, yeah, I applied to the teaching assistant program because my brother had actually did this for a year back in 2017.
That's true.
So he told me about it and I signed up and I got accepted to go in January 2020. And I was like, why not?
January 2020, guys.
Great time to move abroad.
Just to like emphasize the time that she moved to Spain, it was January 2020.
9 weeks of bliss and then like a year and a half of insanity. Yeah, that was an interesting time to move here. But like it all kind of worked out.
You're here now. Yeah.
I met you pretty soon after that. Like after the lockdown, you were like one of my first friends out of that.
Agreed.
And you probably are still like my longest friend that
I think so too. Yeah. Let's talk about how we met.
Oh my god,
this is actually so funny.
This is so because I downloaded TikTok in quarantine, like us all, and I saw April's stuff because you were making things, and at the time you lived maybe half a kilometer from me, so like, or even a kilometer, I don't know the metric system, but you weren't that far from me, and I was seeing your content, and you were blowing up during that time. I saw Javi and his appearances, and I would comment on your stuff, and we had like chatted a little bit in comments sometimes.
Yeah, we did.
And I remember thinking,
wait, no, I remember exactly what it is. You posted something,
and
I commented like, "Oh, La Mona Checa."
Yeah,
because you had a little La Mona Checa, which is a store in Madrid. You had a bag in the background of your video.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Oh, I really want to like message her when we get out of quarantine and stuff." And then I didn't, but then I posted one of your TikToks to my Instagram story, and it just happened to be that a friend that I had bumped into you on the street.
Like this is day. when I tell you, like, I did not know this girl. Like I was walking in the streets of Madrid and she literally stopped me and was like, "Oh my god, I love your shorts."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thanks." And she's like, "Where'd you get it?" And I said, "Oh, it's from like Lululemon." And then she was like, "They're so cute. Like, can I get your Instagram?" And that's it. And then she was like, "Oh, I saw." And then she messaged Lizzie.
I was already meeting up with this friend for drinks that day, and she saw my Instagram story, and she was like, "I bumped into this girl on the street like 2 hours ago and got her Instagram. Should I invite her?" And I was like, "Oh my god, yeah!" So when you came to drinks, I was like, "I'm such a fan!" Like, we have like a picture from that day. I was like so excited to meet you. So we met up for drinks in Lava PX, and like 2 hours in, we had like basically planned a trip together.
Yeah, we booked. Yeah, we did. We literally just met and we booked a trip to Santander.
And then we went on a trip together, and then I like moved in with you for like a week or two between apartments.
Yeah, because she was homeless for a moment.
Oopsie.
Because she was like, "Do I go back to the US? Do I stay in Spain? I don't know what to do." And she literally had like made that decision while she was sleeping.
No, because I was going to move back to the US. I was fully set to go. All my stuff was at your house. I had a flight the next day back to LA. And the night before, my flight got canceled because of COVID stuff. And they were like, "We don't know the next time we can get you a flight to California." And I was like, "Well, I guess I'll just stay." And I crashed with you for a bit as I found an apartment. And yeah. So
and the rest is history. And it's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years, over 4 years.
Yeah. And I think like, well, I think the most change that I went through in my time in Spain was through the pandemic. But you
Mhm.
met me just after lockdown. So I
Yeah.
feel like my life hasn't changed as much as your life
Yeah.
has
Then I
changed
went
in Madrid.
through a lot of changes after
Now let's touch on a little bit
that.
about what we mentioned at the beginning of this episode,
Mhm.
which was Lizzie's Madrid sexual awakening.
Okay, I want to call it sexual awakening. Let's call it like a an identity awakening.
Lizzie's queer awakening.
There we go. That's a good one
Lizzie's
because
queer awakening
yeah.
because, as I mentioned before, I know so many people who've come to Madrid, and obviously you were bi, but
Mhm.
I know I have this one friend, Simone. If you're listening, Simon,
Oh, yeah.
he fully came and he was like, my girlfriend, my girlfriend, my girlfriend. Next thing
Mhm.
you know, he's literally reading spoken word poetry about this guy he fell in love with on the train. Like,
Yeah.
Madrid, what is in the
It's
water?
Agua de Madrid, man. There's a little bit of
There's
something
a little
gay.
bit of
There's a
sparkle.
little bit of sparkle in it for sure. Yeah, there's something about this place. I think also because a lot of people who move here, because you give yourself like the space away from like who you used to be so much,
Hmm.
it's like a space to explore. And the fact that Madrid is such a queer friendly city, like and that's part of the culture. It's so easy to find queer people here. It's like so easy to be open about it, find like queer art and stuff, especially more for men. Let's be real, like it is most places. But yeah, so that started happening to me, like I told you, because I felt like it was time. Also because I don't know if this is related or not, but I stopped taking birth control. I've been on birth control since I was 15. And I stopped summer 2021, was it?
So the summer after you went on a date with Aaron.
Summer after, yes. And it was like after like a month or two of not being on birth control, I was like physically disgusted by men. And I know there's like studies that like birth control does change like the like on straight women, that radically changes the type of men they're attracted to. So then it was like weird. I was like, oh, okay, what if I've been a lot gayer my whole life and I didn't even realize it because I was on these hormones that was
Makes so
changing my
much
mind.
sense.
So like, I think it's like a combination of things.
When I was
But
on birth control, I had a hockey boy phase, and that's like very crazy.
exactly, you see,
Like, and
you
now I'm like
see,
hockey boys.
hockey boys. Oh my god, that's so Canadian.
I know.
That's so Canadian. But yeah, so and it was time, and I think honestly though, the thing about like queerness and like when we're talking about comfort zones, it's not even really about like the romantic or sexual relationships that is like the magic of it. The magic of it is like the friendships and the community building.
And also like feeling I I'm not queer. I don't know what it feels like, but in my brain, seeing you go
Uh-huh.
through this, for me, it feels like suddenly a weight has been lifted off of you
Yeah.
and you just seem lighter and freer.
It's like being more myself, which is really cool. And like it's not even like I thought I was suppressing it that much before. I was just like, oh, it'll come around when it comes around. But like it definitely has made a difference. And like so yeah, I had like my first girlfriend here and everything, and that was a big part of it. But honestly, the bigger part of it was making like queer friends and like growing queer community, and that like really like changed my life
Yeah.
because I mean you came to my girlfriend's birthday party yesterday.
Yes.
That was all queer people. My girlfriend's birthday yesterday, that was like all queer people, and then you and hubby.
Yeah. But you know what Javi said yesterday? You're gonna
What?
die. Actually, he has fully adopted like the title of King of the Lesbians. And you know what he no, but you know what he said? It's like I'm the king of the lesbians and Anna is the queen of the lesbians.
She wasn't even there.
She wasn't there, but he was like, she is
Um
my queen of the lesbians.
yeah, Javi got that nickname because he came to my birthday party.
Alone because I was very, very sick.
Yeah, April was too sick, and Javi came to my birthday party, the only man and I think the only straight person at my birthday party, and could hang. And like we went out to karaoke and stuff and had a great time. And we're like, and everyone was like, Javi's cool. And I think it was Anna who said like King of the Lesbians. And so there it is.
I remember Anna responded to one of my like Instagrams once and he was like, oh my god, is that the lesbian icon Javi? I'm like, when I tell you, Anna said it once, he's never letting it go. Never.
I mean, because like once gay people love you, then like you're like, you gotta feel good about yourself. So
Yeah. No, but I do remember specifically when you were I remember we had a group chat. Ask me who's in the group chat. I don't remember anymore. But I remember specifically a message from you saying like, "Oh, I want to explore making more friends in the queer community." And at the
yeah.
time I was like a little sad. I was like, "Oh no, Lizzie's not gonna be our friend anymore." But then I was like, that's so selfish of me to be like, "Lizzie, you can't have queer friends. You can only have me as your friend." And I
Yeah.
kind of like caught myself like, "Nah, you know what? We're friends regardless." So
Yeah. And
let
you're
her
like my
find.
only friend that's like really stayed through me through all this transition.
Well, we know that the queer lesbian, the English speaking lesbian community
Or
in
sapphic
Madrid.
community.
Yes.
We're a little more open than just lesbians.
Yeah. But you guys have so much drama.
Well, like we do and we don't. Like I feel like there's at least like in my friend group, I think the beautiful thing is it's like within the friend group we actually don't date each other a lot. There is like a lot of like I guess like there's like the inner circle of people,
Outer
not
circle
just like of
dating.
like the queer lesbian, it's like of my specific friends. And then there's kind of like this like outer circle thing that more the dating goes on within there, and then yeah, there's some drama within that. We won't get into details, but
No.
it is funny.
But would you say like after birth control,
Uh-huh.
then not really feeling into guys and having
Mhm.
your first girlfriend, do you
Mhm.
think like having your first girlfriend was really like that, because you mentioned earlier, like there's a line that you cross and you knew that if you cross the line, you wouldn't go back.
Yeah, no, I think that was definitely part of it because I had like gone on dates with girls and stuff and like all of that, but just like actually allowing myself to like start to like get really intense feelings and all of that with a woman was definitely like a changing experience. But then again, it was like I think what made me like stay in it though was after that breakup, because it wasn't a very long relationship. That first one was like 3-4 months. That breakup is that when I found a lot of my queer friends, because Semana Santa or the spring break was kind of right after that, and we all went on this big trip together, and like some of them were going through their own breakup stuff, like also like first girlfriends and things
Yeah.
like that. And so like all of us finding each other and that bonding that happened after the breakup, and like being with a community of people who not felt the same way just about breakups, but about queer breakups specifically, and also like first queer relationships and all of that, like that bonding that happened, like really I think solidified.
There's nothing that bonds you more than a breakup.
It's so true.
Yeah, there's nothing that bonds you more than a breakup.
It's so
Two
true.
people
Like
going
your
through the
real
same
friends.
thing.
Yeah.
Like you guys just like latch on.
And it was like 4 or 5 of us going through the same thing. So like it really like created like a really strong community that was very special to be a part of.
Nice.
And it's like has been lasting for the last 2 years now.
Yeah, and we'll get into the community and all of like the artistic things that you guys do in a bit. But I did want to, while we're on the topic of you discovering more of your queerness in Madrid, I want to touch a little bit about coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember specifically that I don't know what it was, but I do remember, I don't know if it was a post, I don't know if it was a comment on your Instagram or something publicly, where someone kind of alluded to the fact that you were bisexual and you were like freaking out because your parents might see it.
I mean, it wasn't even about my parents necessarily. Like I feel like because I just wanted to like make sure that they knew like from me, instead of like I wasn't worried in the sense that like, oh, they're not gonna accept me. Like it wasn't anything like that. It was just like that is like my own conversation I need to have. And I don't want to like be found out through different ways. So.
Yeah, you don't want them to be like,
yeah.
I saw this comment.
And it was still like I never wanted to like come out to my family. This has been like my mindset ever since I was like a senior in high school. It's like I never really wanted to come out to anyone. I just wanted to either have someone ask and I answer honestly, or like if I was in a relationship with like a woman or like non-binary person or someone, then like share that and make that kind of the coming out. Because I never was just like, I'm gay. Like I never like had that. It was more like when I had my first girlfriend, it was like, oh, I have a girlfriend, you know? So it's not because I don't know. I didn't like the idea of necessarily having to like come out about my sexuality, because it was nothing I really had to do with friends, because I mean, going to college and stuff, I just think I was always in pretty like open-minded spaces where like nothing was really assumed, and so people would ask or like be like, oh, or
Mm.
like, are you into any boys or any girls, like, and like kind of more open about that, because that's just kind of a generational thing. um so I never really had to like come out to friends before ever, and so the really only people that like I kind of came out to was my parents, but it wasn't really like a conversation about sexuality. It was more of a conversation about who I was dating.
That must be
Yeah,
like a weight.
yeah.
Were you worried at all about how maybe not your parents, but maybe other people in your family?
I have a really, really big family, and so like tons of aunts and uncles and cousins and second cousins and and
Mhm.
everything. It's really special to be a part of. Not necessarily because I like I didn't think there was anyone. I don't think there's anyone in my family who would be like, oh, like completely. There's definitely like maybe some more like conservative minded people in my family that would just maybe just like think differently or
Mhm.
something. But as far as like making it a big thing, also the fact that like I live here and they're all over
Yeah.
there, like it doesn't
You have like
really
that
matter.
separation.
Yeah, it doesn't like really matter. And I know I had enough people on my side, and I know also that like my parents are kind of like more liberal minded and all of that, so I knew that that wasn't going to be a problem either. So it's like there wasn't a lot of fear. It was just kind of more of like annoying
What was
to
it kind of
get
like
like
maybe it
to the
wasn't a
point.
fear, but did you kind of feel like you didn't want it to be a thing?
Exactly, that's the thing.
You wanted to just like say it and it'd be like, okay, Lizzie has a girlfriend, and you
Yeah,
didn't want
I didn't want it to
people
be
to
a
make it
thing.
a thing.
Exactly, exactly. I didn't want it to be like a focal point. So, that's what it is. It wasn't less like a fear. It was more of just like, oh, I have to like deal with like being something other than what they thought it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I just wish that like it was just here it is.
But speaking of Lizzie's huge family, shout out to our favorite cousin Vicky,
Oh
Victoria,
my god, yes.
who lives in Amsterdam.
Aw.
She has helped Javi with his F1 subscription for 2 years now. So
Oh
we love
yeah,
her.
our fellow F1 fan. Yeah, I love Vic.
Yeah,
She's one of my
I
faves.
know. I really like her.
Yeah.
But now let's get into a little bit about your creative endeavors with the
Oh,
multiple communities that you're part of, because you're part. I know you mentioned that you also or you're also part of Intersect Madrid.
not really. I That's more of like my friends are part of it, and sometimes I go to their things.
Yeah, well, but you're part of the community because you go.
Yeah, I go to some stuff sometimes. It's like there's like a lot of like little things. It's cool because it's one of those things where you move and you're like an immigrant somewhere, and like you don't, especially because I wasn't sure how long I was going to be here, you don't really know exactly how to put down roots somewhere
Hmm.
where like you're not where like every year you don't know if you're going to stay, going to be allowed to stay, all this stuff. Yeah, so what I admire about a lot of these like organizations are there like people who have like visas that you have to renew every year or whatever, and they
Yeah.
still like make organizations, and they still like put down these roots, and they're like, yeah, we still like have like a right to have a space here and express ourselves here through these ways, whether through activism, through art, through a bunch of different things. So that's been cool to be a part of, and especially that like my current girlfriend, it's just funny saying current girlfriend. My girlfriend took like really took that to heart, and her and some of her friends who are also some of my friends have like put on a lot of these arts shows, this organization collective, I guess, called Sapphicas Divinas, or
Ah,
Divine
I've heard of
Sapphic. I
them.
know you've been a part of it. And like it's really cool, and I admire them so much, and I've been also part of it, not as much as like they are, like they're more at the forefront, and I'm kind of like behind the
Background.
scenes stuff, but putting on these beautiful shows of like dance and art and music, like you sang in one of them, and like still expressing themselves here. I think that's like really cool. And so we have a show coming up on May 25th.
I'm singing there then,
You
right?
are singing
Yeah,
that.
I
Was it
am.
May 26th? Okay. I have to figure it out. But it's
I think it's May 26th.
I think it's May 26th. It's a Sunday. Whatever the Sunday is, it's that Sunday. And you're gonna be singing. I'm actually gonna be dancing, which I'm like not a dancer. Yeah, because Sam, my girlfriend, is a teacher for a beginner's dance class, and so the beginner's class is putting on a number we've been working on. So I'm actually gonna be dancing, which is crazy. There's some other dancers, there's some other singers, musicians, other arts. So it's gonna be really cool. And it's just like, it's so cool to be a part of. Like, it's gonna be in this theater in La Pièce, and it's just like all of our friends and people that we've connected with who are artists, and most of them are queer, and like coming together and just like expressing ourselves in that way is gonna be really, really special. I'm really happy that you get to be a part of it too.
Yeah, I'm glad that I also get to be a part of it, and I think it's so admirable. First of all, starting dance classes, but also like
that's out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, no, but like all of the things that you and Sam do, all of the communities that you are part of, like you said, it's like people who, as much as Spanish bureaucracy tries to kick us out, makes us renew the visas every year, and sometimes like it's just so hard.
Yeah,
they really put their roots in, and it's like they've made a home in a place that you wouldn't think about, and I think it's like really cool.
And I think especially too, with it being centered around, obviously there's other voices in there too, but it being centered mostly around like queer women, which like I told you when coming to Madrid, yeah, it's really queer friendly, but most of that is like gay man friendly. Like you walk around Chueca and there's like a bar for bears, and there's a bar for all of like these like very specific types of gay men, and then there's like 2 lesbian bars. So it's like making a space that isn't a bar that's like for queer women. There's not as many things for that, and so the fact that we've been able to do that is really cool and really special, and we get to kind of like leave our mark somewhere, which is really cool.
Yeah. Well, wrapping up a little bit of the pod, Lizzie, let's share some of our favorite memories together.
Oh my god, where do we even begin?
I think I have 2.
Okay, you start.
I really, well, obviously our first trip was fun, but I really loved going to Cadiz.
Yeah, the boat.
The boat.
The boat.
We always find a way on a boat.
We always find a way on a boat. Shout out to Emily. Love you. Yeah, we went to Cadiz, and my friend of my brother's who like lived there, her neighbor is like a sailboat captain. And he took us out. I think. Yeah, and he took us out on his boat around the Cadiz harbor, and we got to sail like through the bridge. And, that was so nice. Spectacular. You were living your best life.
I know. I'm a boat bitch. I love boats.
That was such a fun trip. We've gone on good trips together.
Oh, actually, no, I lied. A smaller favorite memory.
Okay, Dime.
I think it was American Thanksgiving at my old apartment, and I think we watched The Sound of Music. Yeah, and we just sang along.
Yeah, it's
that was
true.
Cute.
That was a good one. I also remember we had like a karaoke-ish night, not like at a karaoke place, but just at Malia's old apartment.
Stop! Was that when Javi was teaching us how to fall?
Yes, and then Javi had to throw up outside after. That was a really fun night.
That was so funny and humbling for me because, like, I remember we sang as per usual "One Day More" from Les Miserables. Of course, I didn't know Malia was such an amazing, like, classically trained. She's like classically trained singer, and I'm like, I'll be Cosette. Who am I? Yeah, like the soprano. No,
and I was like Javert or something. That was really fun, and then what is another one? Oh my gosh, when we were like filming the TikToks together at Retiro for like what was supposed to be Halloween, but ended up like not really being our Halloween costume.
We wanted to be the Spice Girls, but only 3 out of
5 showed up that day, so we weren't really the Spice Girls. But we filmed a lot of TikToks.
I know what it was.
It was really sweet.
It took too long. It took too long. It took
that too long. One, yes, the potential breakup one. That was really fun. And we took a lot of cute pictures that day. I don't know. It's just like having like good like Madrid days, you know. Like we've gone on cool trips, but like I feel like our Madrid days have been like really fun and sweet.
Javi. Lizzie is also a picnic girly.
I'm such a picnic girly.
She loves a picnic in the park.
I love a picnic in the park. I love being outside.
It's a low cost thing to do.
Exactly. It's free-ish, and it's like Why not? Like, the weather's so nice here. The parks are so beautiful here. Like, why not?
Okay, so sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I ask people to like comment on one of their favorite shows that they're watching recently.
What am I watching right now?
I I think me and Javi yesterday we started on Prime Video Fallout, which is similar to like, well, not similar to This Is Us. This Is Us? No. Last of Us. Different but what's sad.
Okay.
Which is similar to Last of Us, that it's like a video game turned show.
Okay. Okay.
And it's like dystopian, you
Uh-huh.
know. We started yesterday. That was good.
Okay,
I'm only on the
cool.
second episode, but
I don't think I'm actually watching a show right now, but last night I rewatched one of my favorite shows from my childhood. So it's very like a comforting experience. Is I rewatched Over the Hedge, which is a DreamWorks animated movie, and it came out like 20 years ago, or not even. Well, maybe I don't know how long, but like it came out a while ago, and it has such good commentary on like suburbia and overconsumption, and its environmental commentary and stuff, and it's funny and it holds up. So if you haven't seen Over the Hedge, you should watch it.
also Avatar: The Last Airbender. Did you?
Avatar: Last Airbender, I did finish.
Honestly, that was like when I got COVID and I couldn't leave the house for like I don't know how many days. Binge watched it all.
Yeah, the OG series, the animated series, is one of the best shows ever made ever. in my
Ever,
opinion.
period.
And
The
I
best.
will watch it 1,000 times over. I think it's fucking phenomenal.
The
Like,
fact that it's a kids show blows my mind.
I mean, here's the thing though, is like I feel like with especially when it comes to like anime movies, things that are just because it's appropriate for children, like I feel like people kind of mark that off like in the art category as that it can't be great. But like, yeah, it's great. Like it's great. Just how like freaking like the Spider-Verse anime movies are great. Or like Puss in Boots 2 is a fucking fantastic movie. Or like, you know, like there's things that are like just because they're like
Animated.
yeah, but like they're fantastic. So don't limit yourself.
Yeah, so definitely recommend you guys to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action and the OG animated one. OG animated one is amazing.
Yeah.
Live action, actually, I think it was pretty good. I liked it. I was happy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you so much, Lizzie, for being a part of the Comfort Zone.
Oh, this was so
podcast.
fun.
I know. Anyways, so if you enjoyed this episode, if you want to hear more about experiences, stories, and moments where people have gone out of their comfort zone and it turned out for the best, could be the worst also. Make sure to stay tuned for more episodes. Follow us on Instagram at The Comfort Zone, and we are available for streaming on all podcast platforms. You can also watch on YouTube.
That's what I like to do. While I'm cooking, I like to watch.
You should also listen though, because I get ads from that. So
okay.
Pro tip. Anyways, thanks everybody for listening and catch you in the next episode. Bye.